Hello, welcome back. So, I'm gonna try to make these next couple of videos quick enough because I'm on a little bit of a tight schedule today. And, yeah, that's about it. I'm just gonna do the stuff that I want to do. And, yeah. So, today, for the background, we have the traveling to North and South America side of the grandma's birthday decorations. So welcome to this corner of the basement, and this, yeah. These are little scratch-offs. This one is the Rio de Janeiro one, and I'm pretty sure that this isn't even America one, but I had put those up around the basement, so I'll probably do those little scratch thingies at some point just for fun. But yeah, pretty background. Alright, first up, I have this book, and it is called All That Was and Is, and it's basically poetry inspired by the Upanishads, which are super old Hindu, Indian, text things, and I thought that I could also, I really like poetry, and so I thought I could just, start sharing some of that as well. I'm standing so... I get really weird about just standing in front of the camera, but I also want to move around today. I don't know. Yeah, I got my Adderall prescription back finally, so I am medicated for the first time in in that way. I am ADHD in that way medicated for the first time all summer. And it's quite nice. I definitely was able to pick up a lot of different executive functioning methods of coping, which was a cool thing to do, I guess. And I can talk a little bit about that in another video. I want to share ADHD-tism tips and things like that. Mask. So I went to visit my best friend over the weekend at her med school rotations site, and we went to Spirit Halloween as one of the wandering places, and so I decided, what if just different mask, because this mask is kind of cool, I don't know. So yeah, thank you Spirit Halloween for this. It's felt lined on the inside. It's a lot more comfy than the other one that I had going on, and I do really like that one. I put a lot of my own random creativity into it, so I will want to use it, but probably my lips are so chapped. Probably for the dance summary. Huh? Yeah. You can turn it off. That was Mother. She says hi. Okay, so yeah, so mask. Hi, welcome to this mask. Mask says hi. I lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, but yeah, I'll use the other mask for other things, but this is definitely way more comfortable. And to be fair, I'm giving off more of me, but it's enough of some level of anonymity. I don't know. I think part of the point with the mask is I want you to focus more on me as a person and less what I look like, I like how I look. I have no problem with it, I like my face, my body, my hair, all of it. It's taken a lot of freaking work to get to this point, but I don't want that to just be the focus, and I know that a lot of people get more with that, but more community building and shit by using the visual, so it's I'm using the visual a little. I got my fun background, I got my little Spirit Halloween mask, so I want to engage with the visual aspect of this media. It's just I don't want it all to just be, what does my face look like? Do I have pimples? Because that seems silly and really superficial to me right now, given the fact that some of the things I want to yap about are existentialism and philosophy and absurdism and things like that, But also, I want to, like, spread helpful education and information and things that I've learned throughout my life, you know? And, like, I want you to focus on me as a person, you know, not what does she look like, you know? And I guess we're gonna see how that goes. We're gonna see what that goes like. I don't know. Anyways, poem. We're just gonna start today off with this little poem. Okay, so part of why I wanted to start reading some of the poems in this book is because I like them, and they're cool, and they're fun, and I also think that it's like, I don't know, I want to talk about this side of the religion that I was raised with, you know, the, like, genuine, full of love spirituality shit, and not the, like, nationalism, you know. I'm not a Hindu nationalist. I don't agree with that philosophy and that type of stuff. I believe that there is so much beauty in diversity, including in the diversity of people's spirituality, you know. Like, I mean, I was raised one way, and here I am. I find spirituality in God everywhere, right? And, like, even the word God is, like, it's an unfamiliar one to me. You know, I grew up with the word for, like, my universal creator being JG, you know, which is, like, a lot cuter, and it was what was personal to me, but I know that if I say that, you might not understand what I mean by that. So, you know, God it is in some ways, or creator, universe, but I don't know. Anyways, I just, like, I want to be able to talk about things that spirituality does for me and the ways that I like to think about how I think one of the beauty of religion and spirituality being a part of the world that we exist in is it's been a part of the world since longer than any of our individual lives, you know? And you could say the same with things like the Constitution, you know? Like, there are a lot of things that outlive just one person, you know? The medicine outlives people, you know, history, like books and things like that, you know, movies, music. But I think, like, that wondering of, like, why are we here? What's our purpose? That is such an innately, like, human thing that goes back so long. And, you know, I think it's just very interesting to me. And it's something that I find, like I said before in another video, like, very fulfilling and, like, peace-inducing. You know, I find that the easiest way to connect with every person around me and the uniqueness that each person is, you know, everyone's different from me, and that's a good thing, is by realizing, like, that the source material could be slightly the same, you know, like that kind of thing. Trying to, like, picture in my head all the things that my eyes might not be able to see, but I can feel through just the, like, the coolness and complexities of, like, the connections that I make with people, you know, like random strangers and stuff like that, you know, like trying to watch the 4-dimensional TV show that my life might be, right? I think it's a cool way to explore the world, you know. Anyways, poem. So with that said, let's read a little poem. Okay, this is actually the second one in this book, but it was the one that hit me today in my, like, sudden, like, you know, of motivation and things. Part of it is later today, I have my my first, like, I am teaching it art class with the kiddos that I'm doing as, like, a part-time thing, and I'm super excited. I made my own little version that maybe I can show is upstairs, so, but, like, I am very excited to get to that, you know, so I have a lot of positive energy and things today, and yesterday was a hella hormonal period first day, you know how it is. And I, like, that's another thing, right? Like, when I say something like that, I think about, oh, like, not everyone might receive me saying that, like, oh, yesterday I was, like, struggling with the period body and tiredness and stuff, like, because not everyone likes talking about that sort of stuff, but I'm a medical student. Like, the menstrual cycle is a normal part of human physiology. It's important to talk about, and as awkward as it may feel for some of you on the receiving end, like it's something I'm gonna talk about. Hormones run a very large part of our lives, and like trying to act as if that isn't the case is like stupid, you know? So like, yeah, yesterday was a rough hormonal day. Like I wanted to make some video yesterday, but I just couldn't, you know, I was doing other work, and part of that was prepping for the little art class. And, you know, now here I am today, a lot like more happy that I was able to get some bit of prep in yesterday, and that I'm getting myself to do what I'd thought of idea-wise yesterday, today, like things like that, you know? So it's a very like I like to say a lot, like life is very like ebb and flow, you know, you want to be water, go with the, however you and your body and your mind and spirit are just like up and down, right? So I feel like yesterday and today are kind of like that. I think you can hear my dog. Hi, Milo. All right. Anyways, with that said, this is number 2. And it starts off, basically the idea is he writes one of the like English translations of like a quote from the Upanishads, and then writes his own little poem related to it. So the quote is, "It is in doing things thus, without attachment, that one lives for 100 years without clinging to his actions at all." From the Isha Upanishad, verse 2. I like that. I think once we read the poem, I'll yap a little bit more about my thoughts on that, just doing like lots of things. But here's the poem. You are the performer, the director of your own play, the manager of your own stage, the prompter that helps you to say what you might forget to deliver. You are the worker in the field, the owner of the field on which you work, the farmer who so wonderfully displays the labor of love in hay-like stacks in an enchanting arrangement. You are the dreamer who dreams of 100 lives, each extended over a whole century. You are the worker who works his own dreams into whatever he does, however small it may be. You are the one who sows the seed and forgets it until the seed's dream is fulfilled in a blaze of buds, flowers, fruits, and tree. You are the dreamer who knows... That was a nice sound. You are the dreamer who knows what dreaming indeed is. I know what you are and believe in whatever you touch, feel, and see. I believe in your dreams. I know that how, without you, the dream would have remained unfulfilled within me. But I also know how you have quietly realized the difference between placing a seed so it might flourish into a life full of dreams, as well as the need to hold back a dream until it is fulfilled. Among flowers and fruits, your each self-erasing, self-forgotten touch becoming a part of that leaf's growth, so that each small act and thing is remembered freely. At the end of long centuries, when you would be far, far away from your own most delicately raised tree. Yeah, that's all. So one of the things that I like with this poem is the whole like, you are the dreamer who has dreamt of like 100 lives. You can be like it. To me, it screams a couple of things. A lot of empathizing and the diversity of different like lives that we can lead, right? You could be the farmer, you could be the corporate CEO, you can be anything. But the why, the what is the point in pouring into your dreams and stuff like that? Like, what is that process of dreaming and to make your dreams come true, you know? Like, in some ways, making this little video talking about this type of a thing, it's some aspect of some kind of subconscious, conscious dream coming through, and I'm making it happen. I'm just doing it, because why not, right? And in that quote where it's like, it is in doing thus without attachment that one lives for 100 years without clinging to his actions at all. I feel like it relates back to that idea that like, as this like ADHD jack of all trades, I have so many hobbies and I just like to create, you know? It doesn't have to be perfect anymore. It just has to be creation. It has to be active participation in the life that I get to have. I get to have these things and have this time and interact with all of these materials and tools that I have access to in this like first world country, you know? It's just like, it's very overwhelming thinking of all of the things that I could do and put my mind to and try to achieve. So I might as well just do the thing that is on my mind right now that I could dream up and do, you know? Because I have so many things that, like, I've always thought of, you know, this thing or that thing or this thing or that thing, and you can lose yourself just thinking of all the things that you want to do. So you might as well just do it and see what happens, right? And that's what I'm doing. So, yeah. All right, well, that was that poem. I will be back with more poems from this book for sure, but I'm going to clip this video here, and then I had some highlights from this myofascial theory book that I've started reading, and I want to kind of study up on that more on, like, in terms of basically, like, the manual skills and things that I learn as, like, a DO student going to a DO school. I feel like that's something that I can add on to my toolkit, you know? And I think that, like, fascial theory is something that a lot of people can learn and apply to their own lives. I think it's very helpful for pain and stress management, and the fact that it's, like, so gatekept is just unfortunate, you know? So I want to change that a little bit. And I'm not saying that the author of the book was gatekeeping it. No, he's solid, you know? It's just, like, the whole idea that, like, you gotta go and get this referral and do this thing and blah, 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 and go to this appointment and that appointment just to get, like, some help with some pain that you're dealing with, you know? Whatever it is, especially as you get older, you know, like, I'm sitting here, a pretty able-bodied, like, 20-something-year-old person, right? And I'm thinking about just, like, oh, like, it's supposedly supposed to be downhill from here for my joints, you know? And I already deal with stress-related, chronic tension, musculoskeletal pain, and restrictions. And the tools and things that I've learned at school have basically helped me a lot, you know? And I think when safely taught and safely at least provided information, it's like, hey, I'm putting out information. Whatever you do, you know? And, like, take it as you will, right? There's always, like, that safety issue, but I think that most people are a lot smarter than most doctors like to give them credit for, because it is a lot more, it's easier to make money if you try to treat consumers like they're dumb. So I'm gonna try to not treat you like a dumb consumer. Alright, anyways, that's where this video is getting clipped. Bye.